Hello, I am Alisha Raj and today I am going to discuss about thinking and problem solving. It is a point to wonder how have we acquired knowledge about all that we know today. We have got this knowledge from everyone around us like from parents, teachers and books. In all these situations, we have learned something to build our knowledge base. This process of acquiring knowledge is called cognition that refers to activities of thinking, understanding, learning and remembering. The process of acquiring knowledge is facilitated by cognitive processes such as attention, thinking, remembering and reasoning, which is controlled and regulated by cerebral cortex. All these cognitive activities are governed by thinking. Thinking is mostly organized and goal directed. All day-to-day activities ranging from cooking to solving a math problem have a goal. We can reach a goal by planning, or if a task is familiar, then we can recall the steps taken in the past. Hence, we will learn about what is thinking, stages of creative thinking and processes involved in making decisions. We will focus on few points which are the nature of thinking, various stages of problem solving, creativity and its role in life, and the processes of decision making. First, we will start with understanding the nature of thinking. The nature of thinking. It is surprising to hear that we are thinking even while we are in asleep. Thinking is a complex mental process which involves actions of using your mind to produce ideas, decisions, memories, etc. The difference between what is thinking and what is not thinking is just depend on our awareness. For example, suppose it is very cloudy and it might rain. You have to go out urgently to meet someone. What will one do before going out? Answer will be carry an umbrella. That is what is called thinking. Thinking is usually initiated by a problem and goes through a sequence of steps such as judging, abstracting, interfering, reasoning, imagining and remembering. These steps are often directed towards solution of the problem. People usually experience in reading a map, remembering the different places and subsequently locating them in a physical map in your examination. In doing this, you were mostly forming and using mental images. An image is a mental representation of a sensory experience. It can be used to think about things, places and events. Let us take one more example. In order to reach your new school on time, suppose you are trying to find out the shortest route from your home to your new school. Your choice will be affected by many factors such as conditions of the road, the density of the traffic during your school time, safety while walking on the road, etc. Finally, you take a decision about the best possible shortest route about considering all these factors. Thinking depends on a variety of mental structures such as concepts and reasoning. For example, how do we know that apple is a fruit, not an object? Even though this sounds funny, but there is a reason behind it. Whenever we come across an object or event, familiar or unfamiliar, we try to identify the object or event by extracting its characteristics, matching it with the already existing category of objects and events. Concepts are mental structures which allow us to organize knowledge in systematic ways, but we cannot observe them directly, but we can understand them from behavior. Concepts are one of the key elements of thinking. Concepts represent objects, activities, ideas or living organisms. They also represent properties such as sour and brave, abstractions such as anger or fear, and relations such as smaller than or more intelligent than. When we see a table, we characterize it as furniture. When we see a dog, we characterize it as an animal and so on. When we see a new object, we try to look for its characteristics, match them with characteristics of an existing category, and if matching is perfect, then we categorize it. What is the need to form concepts? The answer to which is concepts are mental structures which allow us to organize knowledge in a systematic manner. Whenever we encounter a stimulus, we tend to categorize it in a familiar category. Concept formation helps us in organizing our knowledge so that whenever we need to access our knowledge, we can do it with less time and effort. It is something similar to what we do to organize our things at home. Reasoning, it is used in logical thinking and problem solving. It is goal directed and the conclusions and judgments are drawn from a set of facts. These are two types of reasoning, deductive and inductive. In deductive reasoning, we try to deduce or draw conclusions from generalized principles that are known to be true and specific conclusions, whereas in inductive reasoning, we start from generalized conclusions and the accuracy of inductive reasoning is questionable. Most cases of scientific reasoning are inductive in nature. Now come to problem solving. Every day, we solve a number of problems ranging from simple to complex. Some problems take little time, whereas some problems take much time to solve. For example, if you want to score good marks in an exam, you have to study hard with the help of teachers, friends, parents, and finally you can score good marks. Thus, problem solving is directed thinking focused towards dealing with a specific problem. This thinking has three elements: the problem, the goal, and the steps to reach the goal. There are two methods which are used prominently in problem solving. These are means end analysis and algorithms. In the case of means end analysis, a specific step-by-step procedure is followed for solving certain types of problems. In the case of heuristics, the individual is free to go for any kind of possible rules or ideas to reach the solutions. It is also called rule of thumb. Now, we shall discuss about problem solving and mental set. Sometimes, when we see a particular strategy, technique to solve a problem, we may or may not succeed in our effort to solve the problem. Despite this, we use the same strategy, technique whenever we come across the same problem and again fail to reach the solution. Such phenomenon is problem solving is called mental set. A mental set is a tendency on the part of an individual to respond to a new problem in the same manner that he or she has used earlier to solve a problem. A mental set inhibits and affects quality of our mental activities. However, in solving our real life problems, we often rely on past learning and experiences with similar or related problems. Now, we are going to learn about creativity and its role in everyday life. Creativity in particular is a kind of thinking which involves reaching out to the solution of a problem in a unique and novel way. So, a creative thinker may not necessarily be an artist, musician, writer, scientist or sports person. He may be more than that. Creativity is the mother of all inventions and discoveries in the world. Unlike routine solutions to the problems, creative solutions are novel, original and unique that others have not thought of before. The creative solutions or productions are sudden, whereas these kind of sudden appearances of new ideas is called insight. Stages of creative thinking. Graham Wallace stated that there are 5 stages of creative thinking. These are preparation, incubation, illumination, evaluation and revision. First is preparation, the first stage in which the thinker formulates the problem and collects facts and materials necessary for the solution. Sometimes one finds that the problem cannot be solved even after concentrated effort. The inability to solve the problem may turn the thinker away from the problem and initiating the second stage. Second is incubation. This is a stage of no solution and involves a number of emotional and cognitive complexities. Though the fact is that the cognitive processes and deliberations are on and creative thinking is unconsciously at work. Third is illumination. In this stage, a potential solution to the problem seems to be realized, which provides the aha experience. A sudden idea or solution appears into the consciousness. Fourth is evaluation. In this stage, the obtained solution is verified or tested to see if it works. Some modifications are carried out if the insight seems unsatisfactory. Fifth is revision. Revision is required in the case a solution which is not satisfactory. It has been found that creative people are generally talented and have specific abilities. Creative people have been found to have some specific personality characteristics such as they are independent in their judgment, self-assertive, dominant, impulsive, prefer complexity and etc. Decision making. Suppose one has to opt for a subject. He has the opinion to choose between history and psychology courses in his 11th grade. So, which subject would he like to opt? He might say that he will attend classes in both the subjects so that he would be able to decide which subject he needs to opt. Suppose he finds that contents of psychology are relevant, interesting and new. On the other hand, teacher is intelligent, friendly, knowledgeable and having good verbal ability. All qualities that you value in a teacher. So, on the basis of judgment about the subject and qualities of the teacher, he decides to choose the psychology course. Decision making is a kind of problem solving in which we select an appropriate alternative out of a number of alternatives available to us. Judgment. It is a process of forming opinions, arriving at conclusions and making critical evaluations about objects, events and people on the basis of available information. The process of judgment is often automatic and spontaneous. The difference between judgment and decision making is that judgments involve evaluating information about the world while decisions require making choices. Now let us summarize what we have learned. The process of knowing or acquiring knowledge is called cognition. The process of acquiring knowledge is facilitated by processes such as attention, thinking, remembering and reasoning. Cognitive processes is controlled and regulated by brain. Thinking is a complex mental processes which involves manipulation of information. Such information is collected through our senses. It involves a number of activities such as inferring, abstracting, reasoning, imagining, judging, problem solving and creative thinking. Concepts are one of the key elements of thinking. Concepts are mental structures which allow us to organize knowledge in systematic ways. Reasoning is a process that involves inference. Reasoning is used in logical thinking and problem solving. It is goal directed and depends on facts. There are two types of reasoning, deductive and inductive. In deductive reasoning, we try to deduce or draw conclusions from generalized principles that are known to be true and specific conclusions. Whereas in inductive reasoning, we start from generalized conclusions and the accuracy of inductive reasoning is questionable. Most cases of scientific reasoning are inductive in nature. Problem solving is direct thinking focused towards dealing with a specific problem. It has three elements: the problem, the goal and the steps to reach the goal. A mental set is a tendency in which an individual responds to a new problem in the same manner as he or she did earlier. Creativity is the mother of all inventions and discoveries in the world. Creative solutions are original and unique that others have not thought before. There are 5 stages of creative thinking: preparations, incubation, illumination, evaluation and revision. Decision making is a kind of problem solving in which we select an appropriate alternative out of many others. Judgment is a process of forming opinions, arriving at conclusions and making critical evaluations. Now, this was all about thinking and problem solving. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.